Hello, smart mathematicians. Let's do question 9. Given that f of x is equal to x squared, determine the minimum distance between the point where the x coordinate is 10 and the y coordinate is 2 and the point on f. 8 marks. Let's have a picture. Let's draw a diagram here. Let's say we have our function f of x is equal to x squared. So let's have our function, which is f of x is equal to x squared. Let's say this is the function. Any point on the graph here is going to have the coordinates x squared. So any point on the graph will have the coordinates x squared. Okay, like if x is 2, y is going to be 2 squared. If x is 3, y is going to be 3 squared. So any point on this function will have the coordinates x and x squared. Let's call this point A. Then we have the point B. Okay, let's call this point B, the point where x is 10 and y is 2. Determine the minimum distance between point B and a point on F. So it means when is this distance minimum? So we have to use the distance formula, and then we find the x value when this distance is going to be minimum. Right, so how are we going to do this? We'll have to find the distance AB in terms of x. And then after finding the distance AB in terms of x, we are going to derive the distance and equate the derivative to 0. Derive distance with respect to x and equate the derivative to 0. Why are we doing that? When we're equating the derivative to 0, we're getting the x value when the distance is going to be minimum. Okay, and then substitute the minimum x value into the distance formula, and then we're going to substitute the minimum x value into the distance formula to get the minimum distance. So these are the 3 steps we're going to do. Okay, let's start with the first one. So distance AB is equal to the x coordinated A minus the x coordinated B squared plus the y coordinated A minus the y coordinate B. And then let's substitute. So it means our distance, let's call this one AB distance, just D for distance. And it's going to be x minus 10 squared plus x squared minus 2 squared. D is equal to x minus 10 squared. If you expand that, x minus 10 squared, you say x squared, you get x squared. Then 2 times x times negative 10 is negative 20x, and then plus 10 squared, which is 100. Or if you want, you can do the long way. Remember, this is like x minus 10 times x minus 10. You do use the FOIL method, you still get this. So this is x squared minus 20x plus 100. Right, and then plus, we span this one same way. If you say x squared minus 2, then squared, x squared squared, that is x to the power 4. Then 2 times x squared times negative 2, that is negative 4x squared. And then 2 squared is 4. Again, you can do it the long way and say x squared minus 2 times x squared minus 2. You still get x to the power 4 minus 4x squared plus 4. Right, so it's x to the power 4 minus 4x squared plus 4. Let's simplify what is underneath the square root sign. So d is equal to x to the power 4, then x squared minus 4x squared, that is negative 3x squared, negative 20x, and then 100 plus 4 plus 104. So now this distance is going to be minimum if this expression underneath the root sign is what? Is minimum. The distance is going to be minimum when this expression underneath the root sign, the square root sign, is minimum. So this is what we're going to derive and equate to 0. D is minimum if x to the power 4 minus 3x squared minus 20x plus 104 is minimum. So that's what we're going to derive there. So d dx, let's derive this with respect to x. It's going to be 4 times 1, which is 4, and then x to the power 3, and then 2 times negative 3, that's negative 6, then x to the power 1, because 2 minus 1 is 1, and then 1 times negative 20, that is negative 20, then x to the power 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have, this is the derivative. And then we equate this to 0. We equate this to 0. So now we have to find the x value. We have to solve for x here. So what we need to do, we have to do factorization. In factorization, we have to use the long division. Let's create some space here. So let's do the long division. I'll also show you the synthetic method. So we substitute where there's x, we put 1, we put negative 1, we put 2, we put negative 2, like that, till we get the x value that will give us 0. And then I did that, and then I found that 2 will give us 0. So 4 times 2 to the power 3 minus 6 times 2 minus 20, this will give us 0. Okay, because this is 8, and then 4 times 8, that is 32. 32 minus 12, that is 20. 20 minus 20 is 0. So therefore, x minus 2 is one of the factors. So we need to get the other factors by using long division. So let's do that. So it's x minus 2, and then we're dividing 4x cubed, then minus 6x. So we have plus 0, x squared, right, minus 6x minus 20. We have to add this one, 0x squared there, so that we have 4 terms, right? X into 4x cubed, that is 4x squared. Then 4x squared times x, that is 4x cubed. Then 4x squared times negative 2, that is negative 8x squared. Then we subtract. 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is 0. Then 0 minus negative 8x squared, that is positive 8x squared. Then we drop negative 6x. Then x into 8x squared, that is 8x. 8x times x, that is 8x squared. 8x times negative 2, that is negative 16x. Then we subtract this. 8x squared minus 8x squared, 0. Then negative 6 minus negative 16x, that is negative 6 plus 16x, making it 10x. Then we drop negative 20. X into 10x, that is positive 10. 10 times x, that is 10x. 10 times negative 2, that is negative 20. Then we subtract 10x minus 10x, 0. Negative 20 minus negative 20, that is negative 20 plus 20, which is 0. So therefore we have x minus 2 times 4x squared plus 8x plus 10 is equal to 0. So it's either x minus 2 is equal to 0 or 4x squared plus 8x plus 10 is equal to 0. Right, this one will not give us a solution. You can even check using the discriminant. Remember the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. So if you say 8 squared minus 4 times, so the discriminant is going to be negative because this whole thing is going to be negative. So if the discriminant is negative, there are no roots. So there's no solution here for this one. No solution, right? And then we're left with x. X minus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to 2. So the distance is going to be minimum when x is equal to 2. So where there's x in the distance formula, we put 2. So where there's x here, we'll put what? We'll put 2. But before we do that, let me show you the other method of factorizing this cubic equation. It's called the synthetic method. Let me try to squeeze it here. Right. So what you do, the value that gave us 0 is 2. Remember this 2 gave us 0. Okay, so it means we write it here. And then we write the coefficient of x cubed, which is 4. The coefficient of x squared, all of them must be there. For x cubed, x squared, then x, and then also the constant. So for x squared, since it's not there, we put 0. And then for x, that is negative 6. And then the constant is negative 20. So the first step, you drop 4. So it becomes 4. Then say 4 times 2. 4 times 2. And then you get 8. You write 8 here. And then 0 plus 8. That's 8. Then 8 times 2. 8 times 2. That is 16. Write it here. Then negative 6 plus 16. That is positive 10. Then 10 times 2. We get 20. Then negative 20 plus 20. That is 0. So this is the coefficient of x squared. This is the coefficient of x. This is the constant. So it means we have x minus 2 from this. And then we have our 4x squared. And then we have plus 8x. And then plus 10, which is just the same as this. You see that? Okay. So that's another way of doing it, of factorizing a cubic equation. Right, let's continue. So now we said that where there's x, we can put 2. So it means d is equal to the square root of 2 to the power 4 minus 3, 2 squared, then minus 20 times 2, and then plus 104. Right, so it means the distance is equal to 2 root 17, which is equal to 8,25 units. Okay, that's the answer there.